The Springboks are back in town, if I may paraphrase Thin Lizzy. We've been waiting 7 months, and at last, the world champions are back in action. It's not even a test match, but we're all excited. And in this episode, you are going to get a front row seat to the ultimate Springboks Barbarians preview. Let's begin by looking at the two teams selected for this match, shall we? Starting with the forwards, and these are the Springboks, Oxenchair, Malcolm Marx and Asenati Ntlabakanye will be the front row. John Klein and Loot de Jager will be in the second row. Marco van Staden will wear the number 6 jersey. That is a late change, guys. In fact, so late that I had already completed recording this video. I had begun the editing process when I got the news that Siya Kolisi has withdrawn because of an injury, and so Marco van Staden comes in. So van Staden will be wearing the number 6 jersey for South Africa. Vincent Chituka and Jean-Luc Dupree complete the back row. Morne van den Berg is our scrum half. Sasha Feinberg Ngomezulu is in the 10 jersey. We have Damien Dialende and Jesse Creel in the centres. Creel will be captaining the Springboks in this match. It'll be the first time that Jesse skippers the side. That's obviously because of that Siya Kolisi injury. With Kurtley Arendse and Cheslin Colby on the wings, Apelele Fassi is our fullback. Here's the bomb squad for you now. Magnus van der Merwe, Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Neetling Forshire, Franco Mostert and Kwagga Smith. Those are the 5 forwards, so we're going 5-3 here. Kobus Reinach, Mani Lebok and Andre Esterhuizen complete the bench. Right, those are the Springboks. Let's now take a look at the matchday squad for the Barbarians, coached by Robbie Deans. Here are the forwards. Cian Healy, Camille Shah, Paul Allo Emile, that's the front row. Ruben van Heerden, a South African, playing against the Springboks. Very interesting. It's not like it hasn't happened before, though. Him and David Ribbons will be the lock pairing. Peter Omani is the captain, with Sam Kane and Shannon Frizzell also in the back row. Let's have a look at the back line now. Tawera Barlow is the scrum half. Josh Jacoum is the fly half. Jacob Ratumai Tavuki Neepkins is on the left wing. On the right wing, we have Mark Talea with Peter Umange Jensen and Lester Fainga Naku in the centres. And then you've got Melvin Jamine at fullback. These are their replacements. Ricky Ricatella, Hassan Kollingar and Will Collier. That's the fresh front row that will come on at some point. We got Josh Beer, Hoskins Sututu, Santiago Arata, Joe Marchant and Lachlan Boshier completing the replacements for the BaaBaas. So my first observation is that Dr. Rassie Erasmus has opted to go with a 5-3 split, but Deans has chosen to go 6-2. Not often that happens. This is interesting because there was a thought that the Springboks might be looking to take the Barbarians to a dark place. The BaaBaas are famous for their attacking, running rugby style, and I doubted they'd be overly interested in getting involved in a fist fight at the breakdown. But having said that, let's again look at their forwards. The front row consists of Cian Healy, Camille Shah and Paul Allo Emile. Ruben van Heerden and David Ribbons complete the tight 5, and I want to stop there. Because if you compare that to the Bok combination, and let's look at our boys quickly, Oxenchair, Malcolm Marx and Asenati Ntlabakanye, that's the front row with John Klein and Loot de Jager in the second row, I think man for man, the world champions are easily stronger here. That tells me we're likely to dominate the scrums. Even with Ntlabakanye in his first appearance, he is surrounded by experience. Now sure, Klein might not have a ton of international caps, but he has been around a long time, and it's great to see Loot back in action too. Now that's the tight 5, where I think we have the advantage. So much so that the Barbarians have even jokingly asked for us to take it easy on them. Check out this post on X. After we announced our team, they posted, "Wait, does this mean we have to push in the scrums now? No gentleman's agreement?" Love the humour. But the back row is a different animal altogether. The visitors have Captain Peter O'Mahony, former All Blacks skipper Sam Cane, and another Kiwi, Shannon Frizzell. That is formidable. That is World 15 stuff right there, guys. The only thing that helps South Africa here is that these men have never played together. Now, in terms of the pack, if they're going backwards, then they're obviously rendered ineffective. But at the breakdown, these men are menacing. Look out for pace, fast rucks and cleanouts, and devastating pick and goes. I hate to say it, but also look out for offsides and obstruction. Not really in the spirit of the Barbarians, but hey, they're trying to win a match here, aren't they? So they're going to go there, if you ask me. Van Staden is going to be asked to try and do pretty much what Siya Kolisi usually does, which is pretty much be everywhere and be a nuisance and just do everything really, really well and make life difficult for the opponents. I have no doubt that Eskom is more than capable of doing that, and I'm going to say that with him there, I am still very confident that our loose trio will function well. Chituka will be asked to play the Pieter-Steph du Toit role, and we already know de Preer will be expected to do what Jasper Visser does. And I think he's more than capable. So let's see how it goes. I think it's worth mentioning also that I think we have the edge in the lineouts here. I'm looking again at that tight five, but I'm also looking at what our back row brings at line-out time versus what their back row brings. I think their back row is probably more geared towards pace, towards finding gaps, towards breaking through first-time tackles, beating their man, getting over the advantage line, those sorts of things. Not that our guys can't do that or won't do that, but I think in terms of the lineouts, our 6, 7, and 8 bring more to the table than their 6, 7, and 8. The backline comparison is also an interesting one. Dr. Rassie Erasmus has largely opted for a stock standard Bok backline, I would say. Sure, Morne van den Berg and Sasha Feinberg Ngome Zulu are an inexperienced and largely untested halfback combination. But I think Morne will benefit from playing behind a strong pack, and we all know what Sasha can do. Kurtley Arendse and Cheslin Colby are on the wings, with Damien Diolende and Jesse Creel in the centres. That's your 2023 Rugby World Cup winning backline right there. And then we have Apelele Fassi at 15. Fassi was one of the stars of 2024. In comparison, what do the BaaBaas have? They've gone with Tawera Kerr-Barlow and Josh Jacoum as their halfbacks. Notice that Connor Murray is nowhere to be seen here. He was one of the first names they announced, and there's been no word at all on why he's not part of the squad. As soon as I find out, I'll be happy to share with you guys. Maybe you find out before I do. Let me know in the comment section if you do. Having said that, Kerr-Barlow does have previous international experience. He's not Connor Murray, of course, but he has played with the All Blacks, and Jacoum is an exciting youngster. Perhaps at a push, given Morne's inexperience, you could say we have parity. But with Sasha's X factor, I'm giving us the edge here. How about their wings? Jacob Ratumai Tavuki Neepkins and Mark Talea. Now, I'll tell you what, Ratumai Tavuki Neepkins and Talea are two very dangerous wingers, especially Talea, in my opinion. But remember, they have to actually get the ball. Now, you might say, Pete, that's exactly what Barbarians Rugby is all about. And I'm going to say the Springboks are not playing Barbarians Rugby on Saturday in Cape Town. So if our Springbok defence smothers them, these guys are not going to be able to be much of a factor. In the centres, Peter Umanga Jensen and Lester Fainganaku will come up against Damien and Jesse, Diolende and Creel, with that matchup all the way every day of the week in my book. I think I said with, I meant when. Forgive me. And then at fullback, they've got a player who I very much admire, but perhaps me saying so will divide opinion. Francis Melvin Jaminet, he has been suspended in the past for racist social media posts, but I'm judging him solely as a player. And look, if he turns out to be so awful a human being that no one wants him around, then those are the consequences he must face. But for now, he is playing, and as I say, purely as a player, I do admire him and his skills. He would play far more for the French if they didn't have a guy called Thomas Ramos. You may have heard of him. That said, I think I would still pick Fussy over Jaminet. And just on the topic of racism, well, the BaaBaas haven't exactly come here with a selection of sterling human beings either, have they? I mean, we all know what Shannon Frizzell did, for example. Anyway, how about the replacements? Marnus van der Merwe, Jan-Hendrik Wessels and Neetling Forshire will be South Africa's replacement front row. Now, we have a lot of excitement there, but also inexperience. Having said that, Wessels played a lot last year, and Forshire is 32 and has obviously played a lot of rugby. In comparison to the BaaBaas, Ricky Riccatelli, Hassan Kolinga and Will Collier, I'm going to have to go with parity here. There are probably more questions than answers in both the replacement front rows. And then we will have Franco Mostert and the best player in the world coming off the bench to make a difference, Kwagga Smith in our armoury. The Barbarians will have Josh Beer and Hoskins Sotutu. If you don't know who Beer is, he is another Kiwi. This team is littered with uncapped New Zealanders or under 20 All Blacks or guys who have only played a handful of tests for New Zealand. Some have even joked it's a New Zealand D team. Anyway, I've got Franco and Kwagga on top in this mini battle. And then the backline replacements, we've got Kobus Reinach, they've got Santiago Arata. Now let me just say, I'm almost tempted to go with Arata here. I think he's a magnificent rugby player. He really impressed me at the last World Cup for Uruguay. But I think when you factor in all Kobus has done for the Springboks over the years, you've got to give him the nod. But I think it could be a great battle between two top scrum halves. One probably closer to the end of his career, while another one is just sort of coming into his peak, in my opinion anyway. We've also got Marnie Lebok and Andre Esterhuizen completing our contingent, while they also have Joe Marchant. Now, something I found interesting is the selection of Lachlan Boshier. He is another uncapped New Zealander, but did play under 20s. They've listed him as the 8th member of their replacements. Now, the standard is to name your front row replacements first, 16, 17, 18, then your additional forwards, followed by the back line. And I just wonder if Boshier's selection might not be something of a maverick choice. Might we see him playing some kind of a hybrid role? We'll know on Saturday. Officially, in my book, the BaaBaas have gone 5-3 because they've named this man as the 8th member of their replacements, and as per convention, that makes him a backline player. But we also know, because we have eyes and we see these things, that he's not a backline player. He's a forward. We'll know on Saturday what exactly is going on here. So overall, I think we have the edge in almost every battle here except the breakdown. And then you have to remember we're playing against a team that has never played together before. Plus, as late as Monday, not even all of them had arrived in South Africa. Factor in that a Barbarians week is usually a big party, and that we know how seriously the Springboks are taking this because it's the first match of the season rather than an end of year, dare I call it, friendly. We know the Boks are taking this seriously, and I cannot see anything but a comfortable Bok win. Before seeing the teams, I felt like 40-21 might be a good score. A part of me feels like maybe I'm being too harsh, since the BaaBaas do have some really good players in their squad. But again, they're not actually a team. The fact that even on Monday, there were players that hadn't even been announced yet tells me that they were hastily put together, and perhaps in some cases there might even have been chaos behind the scenes in actually getting players. Best case scenario is that sometime on Tuesday these guys trained together for the first time ever. The Springboks are a settled side and squad. Yes, even if there are some new faces, and don't forget we also haven't played together for 7 months, and in the cases of Ntlabakanye and Neetling, never before. But I just cannot help but think we'll take the honours here. We'll do so comfortably. And I'm actually just going to stick with my original prediction. South Africa 40, Barbarians 21. But what do you think? Do you think the BaaBaas are going to be a far tougher prospect than I'm giving them credit for? Or do you think we'll win by an even wider margin? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, may I also encourage you to sign up on my Patreon page. I would love to do this full-time, guys, and go to Australia and cover the Rugby World Cup in 2027 for you from down under with daily coverage. If you sign up, you can get your name mentioned in my videos. You can get discounts on my soon-to-be launched merchandise store. You can stand a chance to win the brand new Springbok jersey. You can also stand a chance to win the soon-to-be-released James Small biography. You might also be able to have a quarterly Zoom call with me where we discuss Springbok players, matches and tactics, and you might even be able to get me to write an ebook for you on your favorite player. It starts from as little as $5 per month. That's US, not Zimbabwean. And if that sounds like something you want to be part of, then head on over to my Patreon page and sign up right now. The link is in that description area down below. If you're not yet ready to support me in that manner, you can also just spear tackle the like button. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And earlier this week was the 30th anniversary of the 1995 Rugby World Cup triumph. Why not take a trip down memory lane with me and check out this video over here where I recall that special day. You can also go watch this one over here where I looked at the history of the Springboks Barbarians rivalry over the years. And I'll see you next time.